Good afternoon, traders. It is May 2nd and day 27 of the 100X challenge. Two accounts, $10,000 each between Tesla and Strategy, where the first to $1 million wins. I film Tuesdays and Fridays to document every play. No advice, just a journey. So follow along, tap subscribe, and let's get into the trades. First off, let's look at this. Let's look and appreciate the last 3 trading days. Only nine days worth, and if I can do the math real quick, we're talking about $5,000 of gains. So we're absolutely crushing it. In fact, here's another 1835 that's about to be posted when I launch this video. So $1,835 of gains in the last few days. We started with only $20,000 in a portfolio. This is remarkable for just a few days. It just means we picked the right stocks. Look at Strategy versus Tesla here. We're up over $5,000. That's more than 55% on the $10,000 in just under 30 days. Strategy is absolutely crushing it. We're going to talk about how we feel about that in a second. Tesla doing great, 21% up as well. The whole market's turned around. So this is not going to be consistent or sustainable, but we're super happy with the progress. So both portfolios up about 38%. Comparing to the underlines, we're outpacing both Strategy and Tesla and Bitcoin, and of course SPY too. So it's doing exactly what we need. Let's look at the charts real quick. I think this is kind of important because what we've seen in both S&P and Bitcoin along with Strategy, actually let's look at Strategy. That's even more extreme. Look at this staircase going up, stairway to heaven, right? The last time we saw anything like this, and this is pretty ridiculous that we went from about 230 to 400 in a matter of a month, 30 days or so. Yeah, first week of April. Remember this? If you've been around, you were here when we kind of did the same thing in September. So going from September and just staircasing our way up until we get to 275 and then bam. November 5th comes along, the election, and we catapult all the way up to 525, maybe a little gamma squeeze on the way. That could happen here. Bitcoin is set up really, really nicely. Yes, we've had a good time in the last 30 days. If I told you that we would be at $97,000, let's say in November, the same price, then I would have said, no way. There's no way we went sideways from November under the Trump administration all the way to May. So even though we've pumped really, really nicely in the last 30 days, I'm still very bullish that this either continues or we correct, retest really quickly down to these areas before then continuing upward. But honestly, if I was going to pick a side, and I will be picking a side today, then I would say that I'm more bullish than I am bearish, even though things are getting overheated. And that could be my bullish bias. The logical side in me says take some chips off and let's wait for a better entry. But I will take some chips off today. At the same time, I'm going to take a bullish bet toward the next 30 days or so. So I'm going to do both, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do that. Looking at the Tasty Trade accounts, though, I'm going to start with Strategy here. Strategy's at 401. We're up 336 on the shares that we bought a week ago. So remember how I try to make about $300 on average per week on the income side of each account? So these two right here, great spread, great put. Those are the long-term plays. These are the long-term positions. I don't really touch these unless I'm strengthening the position. But the shares were up 335, so that's great. I'm actually going to close this out. I'm going to take profit on those shares, and then we're going to enrich our cash position. So these shares are worth $4,000. We're going to take that cash, leave it in the account, and we're going to go super bullish on a new position. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. Looking at the Tesla account, let's turn that off. Tesla's also doing the same thing. We're up. Let's see. The price of Tesla is up to 289. And the weekly income is right around our goal, a little bit less than $300. And that's just because Tesla's moved faster and higher than we expected. So I wish that Tesla and strategy would move a little bit slower, because the faster we move up, the faster we're due for a retest or a correction. So that worries me a little bit as somebody who's been, doing this for a very, very long time. But at the same time, I think there's so much opportunity here. I love these weekly income positions for Tesla. So we're going to do the same thing. Going back to strategy, let's go ahead and make a move here. I'm going to show you what I want to do with this position. So first thing we're going to do is just close these shares out. And then we'll profit 329. So sell this at 400 is fine. Sell shares and let's go. Okay, so we no longer have shares. Now we have a large cash position. Remember I told you I wanted to make a trade even though I want to be cautious at the same time. So we have more than $5,500 cash in the account. And at the same time, what we have is MicroStrategy's volatility super low. In fact, we're at a 52-week low, a 1-year low for implied volatility. One thing to keep in mind is implied volatility pretty much just tracks the upcoming 30 days. So you may look at implied volatility, this chart right here that I'm looking at Market Chameleon. This green line is the overall implied volatility on a 30-day mark. And you can see implied volatility has gotten all the way up to over 200 during that mania phase in November. But we've now come down to levels way lower than ever before at 63. But if you pay attention, if you're on Micro Chameleon, this is free. You just got to sign up to a free account. You see this historical volatility. Click that and you'll get this purple line. So this purple line is showing you the actual volatility. So it's tracking the realized volatility from the last 20 days. And you can see that the purple line is higher than the green line. In other words, in most cases, we want to be selling rent, selling covered calls, collecting rent, and then reinvesting that rent into more long-term positions. But this is one of those rare times where it's actually flipped upside down. It's actually more profitable for us to probably bet that the purple line is going to continue to remain high above 100 while this green line is low. So we're actually going to pay to take a position on a call spread, which is going to cost us a little bit of theta. So we're going to pay premium, but at the same time, it's going to be because of this situation here. So when the green line is so far below the purple line, we actually look for ways to take advantage of this situation. And that's what we're going to do. So let me show you how. I'm looking at about 30 days from now. May 30th will be the closest to that. And I've set a call spread in here on the option strat of 430 buying the 430 call, selling the 450. Some of you are going to say, okay, that's not so bad. It's pretty reasonable to think that we can get to at least 450 by May 30th. While others are going to say, well, you're deviating from your goal. And now we have to actually go to 430. Otherwise you lose the entire investment. Both are true. Looking at net debit here, I'm only investing 500, less than 10% of my available cash in order to potentially 4x that money. So looking at it from a weekly income point of view, I actually think that this is a really, really good trade, taking advantage of the low volatility while also leaving myself plenty of upside on a small move. So this is in my opinion, this is a coin flip, but instead of potentially winning only $500, I'm actually looking to quadruple the money from 500 to 2,000. So I like the risk to reward situation here, which is why I'm going to be taking this trade as my income trade for the next 4 weeks. So yeah, in 4 weeks, we're going to find out whether or not this was a good idea. But I think it is based on the volatility. So let's go ahead and put this in. We're going to buy 430. We're going to sell the 450. We're going to buy the 430. We're going to sell the 450 on May 30th. It should be, yeah, there we go. $497. Perfect. Let's go ahead and lock it in. Okay. That's it. That's as simple as we need to be for strategy. Now we're just going to let this go. If the price of strategy goes down, which wouldn't surprise me at all next week, that's okay. We can either make a new play, we can adjust this position, or we just leave it as is. Just kind of depends how we feel. But yeah, strategy is at 398 today. All right, let's move over to Tesla and go ahead and make that income trade. This is going to be super simple. I don't even need to go to option strat to figure this out. All we're going to do is close this 265 and pocket 297. Actually, we're going to close both, and maybe we will open option strat and then reconfigure this. Yeah, let's do that. 5100. All right, so we're taking home 285. Cool. Glad those went through. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up Tesla and figure out our next trade here. Okay, so we want to buy the 220, 230 on June 20th. And we're going to sell next week. Yeah, and then we want to sell. So we were at 265. We left us plenty of room here. So we took 230 at 620. We want to be around $5,000 net debit. And we want to be fairly careful on the downside. Tesla's moved up really, really hard, just like everything else. And we want to leave ourselves plenty of cushion. So if we move this all the way to expiration, is this enough cushion? I believe so. So 270 would be our low end. And if we go up to 320 or something crazy, we're still making money, but not a lot, right? Our hope is that we stick around these same prices today, right around 290. If we go lower, we actually can make a little bit more money. If we go higher, we can make a little bit less. So 275 or 277.5. We're going to have to go either 280, 277.5. We're going to stick to 277.5. So 230, 277.5. We're going to buy the 230 on June, come back on May 9th, 277.5. We're going to sell that. Cool. That leaves us some space if we go down. It's going to cost us 49.5. All right, let's punch this in. Hopefully I did that correctly. Okay, we bought the June at 230, we sold the May 9th at 277.5. If we can bring in another 300 bucks next week, hell yeah, awesome. Okay, I think that is it for today. Again, we only try to trade 2 days a week for, maybe 30 to 60 minutes each day. I do prepare for these before I start filming. Tesla was kind of on the fly today. The goal here is to keep everything below 2 hours every single week. I have companies that I have to attend to during the week. So this is something that I'm doing as a challenge for myself. If it works out, great. But it definitely makes it more difficult. Like the fact that I don't touch these accounts at any other point, just makes it hard because there's opportunities here and there, and I just simply can't take them. At the same time, that's probably a good thing. Sometimes you just got to let things run their course, and that works out better in the end. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. And so come back on Tuesday to see what happens next. The strategy trade, I'm very, very curious how that turns out. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys then. Have a great weekend.